from KTVU Fox 2 News, fired San Francisco nonprofit director charged with embezzling $700,000. And it wasn't that long ago, there was another story also out of San Francisco concerning a separate nonprofit organization that was accused of embezzling $100,000, which I thought was a lot at the time, but that's obviously pennies compared to this case, in which they're embezzling nearly $1 million. But we know there are no adults in the room. Nobody's going to come to clean this up. You can run this up the ladder, but the person at the top of the ladder is also completely corrupt. You have the political thugs, you have these weirdo NGOs, you have the resident citizen thugs that are destroying everything. I mean, it's an absolute mess. And then scumbag greaseball bang your wife Governor Gavin Newsom says, I'm going to clean this up and we're going to get rid of the tents right in time for the election. But that's a completely different story. And here you also see in the video, they say head of San Francisco Police Department funded nonprofit fired. So they want you to know that the cops are in on this too. And in San Francisco, they're probably completely corrupt. I truly don't know. But in New York, they were basically, well, I used to call them de Blasio's henchmen. Now they're just Eric Adams' henchmen, and they're just following orders, boss. But that's a completely different story. My name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
Because it would help me a lot and cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend some money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description.
For misuse of funds, the group is a nonprofit funded by the San Francisco Police Department to provide community outreach and crime prevention education. KTVU's Joey Horta is looking into the embattled nonprofit whose newly ousted leader is facing some serious allegations. Joey, what have you learned?
Well, Julie, we're talking about millions of dollars that are now in question. SF Safe received over $5 million in taxpayer money.
Yeah, and what about the funds that Shang Tao, mayor of Oakland, is dealing with, right? She was in cahoots with the waste management team, and when some people tried to organize to get rid of her, they questioned where their money was coming from. So we have to question where every single penny is coming from, because it seems as though it's all completely dirty.
Money through the police department, and some of that money ended up being spent on a trip to Tahoe in a limo. One leader describes it as corruption and believes it should lead to criminal charges. SF Safe Executive Director Kyra Worthy.
Oh, interesting. And she's got a BLM thug with a mask on in the back. Who could have seen this coming?
He is out of a job, terminated by the nonprofit's board of directors on Wednesday, according to the group's attorney, for misuse of funds and other banking discrepancies.
And imagine how terrible and how brazen you have to be, because in San Francisco, basically anything goes. You can do whatever it is you want with zero consequences until you get so full of yourself that you're stealing nearly $1 million.
Sadly, another...
And this guy, right? This is Aaron Peskin, San Francisco Board of Supervisors president. He's completely corrupt. He's like a weirdo, even more extreme Bernie Sanders. But that aside, when you have this guy mad at you, you know you've done something wrong, and she's a black woman, and he's still, well, I don't know. I haven't watched this yet. I don't know what he's going to say, but he's probably going to sugarcoat it, but still address the corruption, in which almost any other case, he would just say, beep, boop, black woman can do no wrong. Maybe he will. I don't know.
Episode of the misuse of taxpayer funds.
SF Safe is a nonprofit which receives funding from SFP.
SF Safe is a nonprofit, right? Like, this is just, it's so predictable, right? They come up with these quirky, cute little names that make you believe the complete opposite of what they're actually doing. SF Safe, right? Just like the Safety Act, we're going to cut the junk off your kids and not tell your parents to keep you safe. Bro, this is crazy.
PD to organize community outreach. San Francisco Board of Supervisors President Aaron Peskin calls the allegations shameful and embarrassing.
Speaks to a very unfortunate and cozy relationship between the police department and SF Safe with lavish.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense. He wants you to know that the police, because this guy is totally a weirdo, anti-police. Like, I don't know if he truly believes less police are going to fix the problem of San Francisco, but he's all in, no matter how despicable it gets, no matter how deep No matter how much destruction occurs in San Francisco, he's still going to blame the cops. So while the lady, who is certainly part of this, is bad, she is in cahoots with the cops. So they're both bad, and that's the loophole.
Lavish parties, misuse of transportation, bashes in South Lake Tahoe, all on taxpayers' dime.
Peskin requested an audit through the city controller
That showed that all of the police department's accounting practices were out of whack, that they were approving.
And again, for the millionth time, I'm not going to sit here and go to bat for the San Francisco police officers, but he is taking it to another level to make sure that they were the reason why the other lady embezzled nearly $1 million.
Over $3.8 million in invoices without any backup documentation.
The audit reveals from July 2022 through March 23, SF Safe spent nearly $80,000 on ineligible expenses, $36,000 on luxury gift boxes, $21,000 on parking expenses in the Bay Area. That trip to Tahoe, hotel and limo included, cost more than $14,000, and nearly $6,000 on Uber and Lyft in the Bay Area.
That's very interesting, but at least it is Transgender History Month in San Francisco.
In San Francisco, city leaders and community members gathered at City Hall today to raise the transgender flag.
That event has recognized the trailblazers here in the Bay Area and how much work we still have to do.
We've seen a severe increase in young people and parents, as Senator Wiener mentioned, sending DMs, asking for support because they're sending their youth, they're sending their children that are coming with them to San Francisco because they know across the entire country, San Francisco is where we will be safe. San Francisco is where we will be affirmed. San Francisco is where we can finally live our true selves and be in community.
So you guys had, obviously June is a huge thing, then nothing in July, and then August rolls around and it's Transformer History Month. Meanwhile, everything is collapsing. Crime is through the roof. The police might even be committing crimes. So says this guy. And there's nobody that, we don't know. Oh, Gavin Newsom says, the locals got to fix it. Well, the locals are corrupt. And that's why this entire state is likely already gone. There's no bringing it back. I mean, we're talking about, like I said, a decade, but if you want to really bring this back to like the once, a shining state, right? They have these beautiful landscapes, but it's all completely disgusting. And you could bring it back in 10 years and it won't be quite as disgusting. But if you want to make it a place where people want to go and prosper and thrive, easily 40 years.
He's turned his state into a version of Venezuela. And everybody's leaving it because the policy's broken. You don't have to get into partisan politics on this. California, as far as business is concerned and job creation and economic prosperity, is a dumpster fire. It's on fire. These companies are leaving after hundreds of years there because they can't do business. They can't make money. They can't employ anybody. And in every sector, I'm wearing a chef suit today because I invest a lot in food services. We don't touch California.
Carter Oberstone is on the police commission.
Our police department did not have adequate safeguards in place to ensure that the money that it was granting was spent in an appropriate manner.
The attorney for SF Safe.
Yeah, but who appoints the chief of police, right? Like, look, the finger pointing could go back and forth forever. And I'm sure the cops are not perfect. Quite obviously, nobody's perfect. But this is always going to boil down to the completely corrupt political regime in California.
Tells KTVU, despite all of this, the organization is not suspending operations.
It is mind-boggling. It's a system set up specifically designed not to detect malfeasance. And I believe that SFPD leadership also needs to be prepared to answer questions.
We reached out to the police department for a response tonight, but haven't heard back. Peskin wants to find out if SF Safe actually provides the services they were hired to provide. The audit only sampled $900,000 worth of expenses out of that $5 million grant money. So the controller is saying the actual amount that was misused is most likely significantly higher, going back 5 years, Julie.
So, Joey, what happens next, and is there any penalty for the woman who was fired?
Well, Supervisor Peskin believes that this will lead to criminal charges, Julie, and the police commission could hold a hearing on SF Safe as early as February 7th. That's their next meeting.
All right, Joey Horta reporting live tonight.
Absolutely wild. And I do think that the cops should be held to a little bit higher standard because they're supposed to be keeping us all safe. But I love how they are so quick to highlight the police corruption, even though the police are in cahoots. I don't know, bro. This is a mess. But I'd be willing to bet that at least the corrupt police, I'm sure there are good cops everywhere, and not all, but most.
Not all, but most.
Are in cahoots with the political regime. The political regime is in cahoots with these weirdo NGOs, and the money keeps moving.
The money keeps moving in a circle.